And we are recording with, I always forget him, but I'm pretty sure it's Dr. George Nasr. And if it's not, who cares? You get an honorary doctorate from me on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, 10:43 a.m. Eastern time, talking about me and my buddy were talking about it last night. You can tell, from our American centric point of view, we look at it in terms of wealth. It's like the single most expensive loss of supercars in human history, which is no one cares about it. Boo hoo, you lost your Lamborghini, whatever. But that's about the extent that I know, is that a lot of Lamborghinis were lost. That is the beginning, middle, and end of my understanding of the Dubai floods. So, George, can you maybe introduce yourself to everybody, and then can you maybe explain what in God's name is going on?
I'm George Nasser. I'm an engineer. I got you actually a real doctorate. So thank you, Tom, for
Yes, sir. I got you. I
I
got you.
got another one from Tom, which counts for more.
Yeah, you got two.
And
And
being
your
originally,
your book, your LinkedIn, your website, your Twitter are all in the description. Sorry.
yes, I'm originally from Lebanon, so I can relate to the loss of cars. Here, the Lebanese have an obsession for nice cars.
Hmm.
So I study a lot on sustainable development, environmental. I'm basically a troublemaker. I dive into all these issues, and I like to I I like to see if things really happen the way they're unfolding. In this case, it's very simple. I'll give you give the ending away. It's not exceptional. So what happened is something. What I said is it's not quite exceptional because it happens in the region. It happens very rarely, so it's not a complete black swan event. But the first thing is that happened, everybody was like, oh, this is a big flood caused by people who are being cloud seeding. It's because people are always afraid of this geoengineering trend that's happening. And there's two things we do. There's the large scale geoengineering, the one that everybody's favorite, Bill Gates, wants to do cloud, put the sulfur in the atmosphere and everything. That's the large scale. These are very difficult to reverse. And there's a small scale, which you do is basically you try to provoke more rain into the cloud. And what happens is in Dubai, they regularly do cloud seeding. They do not do it the same way other countries do. Other countries or other places, what they do is they inject silver iodine salts into the clouds. These particles look like they look like snow crystals. So the water accumulates around them and then becomes heavier and precipitates. What Dubai does is they inject electrical charges. They have those small drones that fly into the clouds. They have electric charge that they inject into the cloud, and it forces the water particles to by electrostatic force to coalesce and then precipitate. This way, it leaves no silver iodine or potassium or any of the salts behind. Now, everybody knows that they're doing it regularly, and you see this big flood, and everything goes, "Oh, they provoked it." What they got is 20 to 25 millimeter of rain. Even if they did run a drone into the cloud, it would add maybe 10, 15%. So that's 2 millimeters on top. It's like a rounding error. So it's unlikely. But what happened is you had a system of formation. The jet stream was being irregular. So you had three systems coming into the region. And this guy came over to buy. And the recent forecast a few days before, they had forecast that said that, yes, we're going to get 25, 30 millimeters of rain. So they expected it. What happened is over this one region, they got them all within a few hours. And there's something about the Dubai topography. It seems that it flushes the water towards the coast where all the inhabitations are. So in a way, uh, they had all these events combined to provoke this huge flood and the loss of all these Lamborghinis. I'm partial to the what is it? This there was a beautiful Lamborghini that had the round wheel with the round thing. That's a supercar. I hope they didn't lose this one.
The
The round. I forgot what it was called. It was like a concept car.
there's like there's a lot of Lamborghini. There's Gallardo, Aventador.
I forgot the
Murcielago.
day.
I don't know. I mean, it's all stuff I'll never
Yeah,
see in my life.
but
It's
they have some beautiful cars over there. I remember one thing I noticed about in the Gulf, people, that some people drive very fast in the desert. So after a few minutes of driving, maybe an hour, you see the car coming back, sandblasted,
mm,
because they drive very fast on the highway. There's a lot of small dust accumulating, and all this dust literally sandblast the car.
that's kind of cool.
So yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of costly, isn't it?
Oh well, of course it's costly, but I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't,
There's
I can't.
something.
Costly can't be a factor when we're talking about guys with gold coated Rolls Royces.
Yes,
No,
yes, yes,
it's like shut up.
and they have a flair for cars. There's a thing that they do, the Dune Safari. I tried to go on one. I couldn't hold it. I don't know how they do it. They pull more G's than fighter
They
pilots.
drive up, yeah, in like the Land
Yeah,
Rovers and stuff. Yeah, I've watched those. Those are terrifying. Um,
it is terrifying.
so so what you're explaining, obviously geoengineering and what it is, and it's not the
Yes,
boogeyman. It's just it is a way to it is a like all things humans do is we manipulate our environment with our appendages backed by our mind. That being said, that doesn't mean that that's not possible. Just as an aside, if you can make
yes,
something rain, and I don't know if you're the Department of Defense, and every year you get 8/10 of $1 trillion to essentially find out how to kill more people, that would absolutely be something you'd look into. No different than hypersonic missiles
yes.
or drones or robotic dogs. It is something you would look into. You would look into, can we, because that's also some pretty plausible deniability.
It is, especially that there's a treaty, actually, obligation. I forgot the words. I would have to look it up. But there's
Yeah,
an
but
actual
treaties don't mean
treaty.
treaties don't mean shit.
Yes, but they tell you what happens in their mind. When you write in the treaty that you're not going to use chemical weapons, it means you have them. When you write in the
Dude,
treaty that, yeah, right? So you
George,
have a
I'm
treaty
not gonna
that's,
shoot you. I'm not gonna take a gun out, and I'm not gonna shoot you in your sleep. I promise.
well, I tell you, growing up in Lebanon, when I was a kid, I used to think during the Civil War that ceasefire means begin shooting, because they would make an agreement of ceasefire, and right at the moment you hear the shooting starting. So it's kind of the same. There's a treaty obligation. I forgot which treaty, but there's an obligation not to affect the weather downstream to another country. So we know we can do it, we can mess with it. In this case, it was not the case. They also had something else that may have provoked the cloudburst, the flooding. There was a lot of dust coming from Egypt. It was very fine dust. So it could be that the dust, because those clouds that came to Dubai, passed over Egypt, may have picked up a lot of dust. And then maybe they did some cloud seeding, but there was this confluence of event that provoked the flooding.
Hmm.
Now, there was the dog that is not barking was a few days later, there was another very heavy rain event, almost no flooding, which tells you that they learned from it, most likely, and prepared the infrastructure for it. In this way, they're very effective. They have a lot of, when it comes to engineering, they're working very hard. So they may have learned from it, yes, and let's adjust. It wasn't as big as the first event, but it would have caused flooding or flash floods, and it did not cause any trouble.
Hmm. So
So now the geoengineering part, the one you're worrying about for department, the type of Department of Defense type would be much larger scale. Give you two examples. We talk about climate change. If we're worried about the global warming, there's two ways to stop the warming. One way would be to stop the incoming radiation from the sun, and the other one would be to cool the earth as a reaction. So one way to stop the incoming radiation from the sun would be very simply to use a solar shade, like an umbrella. And the Russians tested this about less than 20 years ago, less than 20 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And they deployed the solar shade up in the atmosphere, in the high atmosphere. They, it's a very thin shade, sorry, not in atmosphere, in space, near Earth orbit. And they deployed it. They said it worked briefly. People saw a flash, but then the entire shade collapsed. It's a very big shade. It's It will be like a very thin aluminum foil spreading over the equivalent of an American football field or bigger. And the closer you move it to the sun, now you create an umbrella.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about warming, we'll sell you or we'll rent you the umbrella we'll send you some shade. Now, the value of the experiment is not, I don't see it only for solar shading. It's also used as a solar sail. If we can deploy a solar shade, we can deploy a solar sail, and you're familiar with those, Tommy. It's the fastest way we can go to into
Spacecraft powered by,
near spacecraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can do that. That's one way to do it. The other way is to cool the earth, and you'd inject sulfur particle, and volcanoes do this regularly. When they blow up, there's a lot of fine dust, contains a lot of sulfur-laden particles. They go up into the atmosphere and they cool the earth. So there was projects saying that we can cool the earth using this, do it ourselves. Problem with those things is volcanoes do it, but not at the scale that we want to do it. The advantage of a solar shade, you can close it or move it. But once you inject those things into the atmosphere, you don't control them as much. So that's the other way. There's also an experiment done to provoke clouds with using lasers. So you inject basically photon light energy. You inject photon energy into the cloud formations that excites the electrons, creates an additional electrostatic charge. That could be conceivable. It could be another way to do it. They've been testing those things. So yeah, if you want to go the way the Department of Defense has been doing it, you know, you heard about the issue in California, 1905 or 6, I believe.
The
There was
earthquake.
this guy, Hatfield.
Uh,
No, I'm going to look up the date, but there was a guy, Hatfield, I think his name was. So he did this, he was a rainmaker. So he got paid to make it rain. He would set up towers before the airplanes, inject his mixture into the clouds, and it would rain. Farmers would pay him. He only got paid when it rained. Well, he got paid by, I believe, the city of Los Angeles to fill up a reservoir. Okay, he filled up he injected this thing, and rain started falling, and a lot of the other reservoirs burst except this one, the one he was contracted to fill it up. So he continued injecting his stuff to the atmosphere. It kept raining, and then when he went back to get paid, he almost got lynched. But he goes, I was tasked with filling up this reservoir. I did my job, pay me. And they're
yeah.
like, no, we owe you that. You owe us damages. He goes, no, I'm not
No.
responsible. You guys should have built the dams.
It's on you.
And
It's on you. I provide the goods.
it's on you. I provide the goods. And yeah, exactly. It went up all the way up to the Supreme Court, I think, of California. And the court found that it was an act of God. So he was not at fault. But then again, it was an act of God. So he couldn't
So you
get
can't
paid.
get paid. Yeah.
They stiffed him for the equivalent of $300,000 today.
And that was what, 1905?
1905, 1906. I'll look it up. See if
So,
Google does his magic.
so let's look at the Wright Flyer, which flew in 1902, Kitty Hawk.
Exactly.
67 years later, we landed on the moon, and then we have Airbus A380s and stealth bombers. So we can look at the maturation of the technology. So that's now where I'm coming
Exactly.
back and going,
Yeah.
making it rain in
1916. I'm sorry to interrupt
1916.
you. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So
1916, July 2nd. So yeah, we're
so
right there.
108
So not that
years.
far off.
108 years.
Yes.
That's where I'm coming back and going. I'm not saying that I'm by no means, I don't know anything about, like I said, I don't know anything about the Dubai flood. I'm more so just arguing the possibility that it's there. Treaties mean nothing. Treaties are niceties, but you have everything ready anyway. To me, that's where I'm going. It might not be that, but as maybe it would be an episode completely different than the Dubai floods. It would be like an addendum. Is it possible though to weaponize it? I think you I think
Yeah.
you'd have to be willfully stupid to say that it could. Not you. 108 years since some guy made it rain. 108 years. Look at the Model
Yeah.
T to the Cybertruck or to the Lamborghini. Look at the Wright Flyer to an
Well,
Airbus A380. I mean,
yes, but let me just play both sides here,
okay.
if I may. When you're dealing with a Lamborghini or a car or a plane, it's a closed system. We understand all the parameters. We built it ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not classified. Yeah.
It's not, yeah. When you're dealing with the weather, it's a complex thing, and you create chain events that we don't control. It
Sure.
is possible, let's say, for example, a confluence of events. You have this, you do some cloud seeding, let's say they did, and there's a storm coming, and the storm happens because of your cloud seeding. I don't think it happened this way, but let's say, and the rain concentrates. But then all of a sudden, you get a freak cosmic ray that comes in. The effect of the cosmic rays on cloud formation and rainfall could be much bigger than anything you do.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play this game, it could be. Now, on the other hand, you wouldn't put it past them because when you said treaties don't mean nothing, I kind of disagree because they're a good tell. It's like in poker, you have a tell. When you have a treaty, it means you're worried about this. It means you're
It's,
working on it.
but to me, that would
You
also
have a
say that
bioweapons treaty, it means you have the weapons.
means you're no, no, and it does mean that it does mean that even if it's a nicety, you are still obeying it. But it also means that somewhere you're building
Yes,
something. Doesn't mean you're right. It means you're not
of
deploying it, and it means that maybe you're worried about the other guy making it. That to me goes, so you're damn right. We're building one out in the desert somewhere.
exactly. That's what I mean. It's the
Yeah.
fact that there is a treaty and they discuss it and everything. It means it's a worry. It means you're thinking about it.
Mm,
So that's in a way, like people say, we're going to have a ceasefire. Why are we fighting in the first place?
mm,
And then during the at the ceasefire, people fire.
mm.
It's kind of cynical, but yes. In this case, however, I think it's just a kind of a wake-up call that we're dealing with a complex system. On the scale of small clouds, it's not a big issue. But if we're worried about this on the scale of a small cloud in a relatively small city, all right, no matter how magnificent, how the heck are we able to be sure that we're not gonna mess up royally on the large scale of the planet if we start injecting sulfur in the high atmosphere or playing with the weather on all of these things? You see what I mean? If we're unable, like we have a doubt about the small scale, and then you're going to hear next week or the week after some genius is going to say, oh, we're going to do it on the scale of the planet, we're going to stop global warming ourselves, geoengineering. We're like, what? You can't even be sure that uh, this cloud, you can't convince people that this actual cloud formation did not burst by mistake, and now you're going to mess with the entire planet. It's kind of crazy.
Mm.
In a way, for me, the Dubai flood is a warning for us. Is yes, it's a freak event, most likely not due to any of the activities that they do. They managed to increase the rainfall tremendously. They changed the desert. They did some wonderful things. But that doesn't mean that somebody else is going to claim, oh, since they can do this, I'm going to change global warming myself, or I'm going to change the global weather myself. Even if they have the means, and that's where the military comes in. They have a habit of testing they had a habit of testing nuclear weapons on their own soldiers.
That and before that, they thought that they had a bet. They're like it might ignite the Earth's atmosphere on fire. Who cares? Send it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what we're dealing with. Like you remember. Yeah,
it's typical.
Operation Buster Jangles, where they detonated a tactical nuke for A, the psychological reasons. They wanted to see if soldiers would move towards a mushroom cloud, and B, to see what the radiation damage would be. It's Operation Buster Jangle.
Yeah, and the British tried it on their own troops. I'm sure the
Yeah.
Russians, the Soviets did the same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
They even, you remember, I think they even considered they were looking at shale gas, shale oil, and they even considered nuking the shales to make it melt so that we can get oil. I don't know if the Soviets did it, but then somebody must have figured out the oil would be radioactive. Not much of a market value there.
But my point
But
is like now obviously it's not
yeah,
them. They're all dead. But that general idea is still
yeah,
going. No part of me thinks that they're going, well, what might be the side effects of this? They're just like, You think we can make it just rain like 10 feet in Russia? I don't know, maybe. Yeah. It might destroy the world. But it might not. Go for it.
Yeah, it's just, let's see what happens.
I mean, look at Castle Bravo, the 15 megaton hydrogen bomb that we thought was going to be like 7. We sent that in the middle of the Pacific and like Orangelap Island or Kwajalein or whatever it was. They almost
Yeah,
killed like all the scientists
fraudulent, I think.
because it was like twice the size that it was meant to be. And you know what they did? Eisenhower just came out the next day and was like, somebody asked, they're like, what about the radiation in the Pacific? And he was like, let's talk about the new tax plan. They just screw it. Like we kind of just detonated something 1,000 times stronger. And I've interviewed a guy that was a Marine that was a witness there. John, I think it's Halderman. He's been on here twice. He's like 90s. We did that, like created something 1,000 times stronger than Hiroshima. Completely miscalculated it. I mean, who said if they miscalculated it that much, who's to say it wouldn't have gone to 150
Uh,
megatons? It happened, and then Eisenhower just went like, yeah, it's not. We're not going to talk about that. Like that hubris does exist. So, who's to say that there's not some guys right
it's
now that are like, man, I cannot believe we flooded Dubai. They're like, yeah, just shut up. Let's just not talk about it.
uh,
I'm not saying
well,
that's what happened. I'm saying it's possible.
yeah, yeah, I know. It's the thing is, it's not hubris. It's more like, yeah, let's see what happens. It's worse. It's not like hubris. Hubris would be, I'm going to stop myself global warming or something. I have a plan for those
Yeah,
things. That's hubris. It's
this is
like
more just
making,
like
let's see what
psychopathic,
happens.
like throw a
Not even, I
baseball
think
at a
it's boyish
car.
curiosity.
Let's throw some rocks off a bridge on a highway. Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Why not?
that
The
is
boyish
worse.
curiosity. It's like the frontal lobe. Somehow the frontal lobes at some point they develop, then they atrophy.
Yeah,
So you're going, who cares? Let's see what happens.
send it. Who cares? Whatever. What do
Well,
I care?
didn't the Russians try the Tsar Bomba? It was going to be even bigger, but then they figured out why.
Yeah, because it
It's
would kill the pilot. Yeah, it was 58 megatons. It was supposed to be 100.
yeah. And then they realized that we don't need to have one big nuke. We need to have a lot of many small ones.
You get a bigger surface area. And then
Yeah.
we openly talked about how evil the Tsar Bomba was, and it wasn't classified until I think 5 or 6 years ago that we had something called the BTV, the big test vehicle,
Yes.
that was supposed to hold
Yes.
100 megaton bomb. That was by the way ordered after Zarbomba. So for 60 years we went, they're evil. But the reality is we made one, and then there was something called flashback, which was supposed to be quote 100+ megatons. This was for 60 years. We just went, man, the Tsar bomb is the worst thing ever. Within months, we were like, how do we get an arsenal of ones bigger than that? So like that's where I'm getting at is like
Yeah.
in 2080, or they can finally be like, oh yeah, by the way, so we did that thing in Dubai. That was a big accident, and yeah,
Yeah, or misfire or something. It could. What I mean is, it's conceivable because of this. I would say underdeveloped frontal lobe that we see in many places.
but even
I
that
don't
isn't
know if
isn't
it's
that
psychopathic. It's
that's an age thing though. That's like 25 years old is when your brain finishes developing.
yeah, but maybe some people just lose it. I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. No, no, no.
uh,
I'm not. Yeah, obviously, I think, yeah, we're, again, I'm not saying this is what happened in Dubai. I'm using this more as like a
yeah.
opening point to say it probably is possible. It absolutely is
I,
possible. And if it's
th
possible,
that's
then
why I looked into it
yeah,
because my tell is that there's a treaty. There's some kind of treaty obligation. I forgot exactly the words. I have to look it up.
yeah,
But it prevents you from doing this. Well, if
yeah,
you're talking about this, it means you're thinking about it.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's also bioweapons treaty, but COVID.
exactly. So you have the bioweapons.
Yeah, and yeah, they won't do it. What do we just get out of the pandemic?
Yeah, we don't want to to what is it to nuclearize space. So we're
Yeah,
thinking about it.
yeah, yeah. It means we're trying to get everyone else to not do it while we figure out how to do it. Yeah.
Yes,
Um.
and everybody does the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
turns
No.
around.
And this isn't like an American centric thing either. I'm like I'm just humans in general, right? It's vying for power. That's what it is. You dressed up in any other way you want, creating 10,000 years ago. They're probably like, we're not working on bronze shields. I promise you, it's too strong of a material. It would change warfare forever. the Bronze Age, right? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, just
that's what I'm
yeah,
getting at.
yeah,
Is like forget anyone. I'm not blaming it on. I don't care who it is. Um, but that being said, or is this just a symptom of is the climate getting crazier? In terms of human lifespans, in terms of geologic time, this might be a hiccup.
yeah, yeah. In terms of human lifespan, two things worth noting. If we look at okay, uh, on the long scale, but not so long, on the human time scale, we are at the end of the modern solar maximum. So regardless, if we disregard, even if we did not look at the what we're doing with the atmosphere, injecting more carbon dioxide and everything, we do, if we disregard this, we are at the end of a long solar cycle. The it was we had the Maunder minimum in the 1850s. There was a plateau in the 1950s, and now it looks like this plateau could end, and we go back to a minimum. Now, and add to this the fact that we've injected a lot of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, it's marginal, but we play on the margins. You have a system that's changing. Imagine somebody accelerating the car, and you come in and you have a turbo booster to your car engine, to go back to the Maserati. And at some point, the turbo booster kicks in. If you remember the old turbo boosters, you would notice them kicking in. You would just get this kick right away. So it could be that we're messing with something that we don't understand. The climate is getting a bit crazier because it's entering a new cycle. And we added the new parameter to this. And now it's a completely chaotic environment. And we get those. There's also something, the oceans are warming a little bit faster. And it may not be entirely due to just the greenhouse effect. So there could be some other parameters we don't understand.
Hmm.
I'm trying to be open-minded, thinking of all the
Sure. Yeah.
possibilities.
Yeah. I don't
So
care.
when the system shifts, everything else, even the minor parameters, become much more salient.
Hmm.
And then you get more freak accidents like this one.
Hmm. And systems always move towards a state of homeostasis, right? So
They want to,
they
but
want
they
to. They
dance around it.
yeah. So in the same way that like the human body or biological life in general, right? Maybe I don't know, bipedal organisms for the majority of our existence has been food's been scarce, right? And we don't know what
Yeah,
to do now when you have food everywhere, right? I don't.
yeah, I should.
Yeah, my body still thinks it's on the plains. It's like I need more chicken. I need more chocolate, right? And it's because it's still in terms of evolution, it's still to us. It's like the agricultural revolution 10,000 years ago. In terms of like biologic evolution, that's nothing. So in that same sense,
Yeah,
even longer than biological evolution is geologic time. So we might be looking at just like a slight hiccup going back in the general direction that and it might not even have anything to do with human like carbon dioxide production. It might just be this happens, but it happens on such a scale that we're like, oh my God, we're doing this. This might just be like under like this might be like magma mountains just shifting slightly.
well, it's like you're zooming on a curve. If you look far away, the curve looks smooth. It's
Uh-huh.
shifting in a certain
Zoom in
direction.
and it's
You
flat.
zoom in and you see those little lines, sweet green lines. You
Yeah.
zoom in more and you see this hiccup that we're
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
That is, the thing is, we are in this hiccup, so we need to be a little bit more considerate.
Hmm.
But the thing is, the other thing that I notice is when we talk about we see the problem and we move to policies, then you have buy-ins. Like you move and you enact a policy, the policy becomes a reason for itself. It's like
Mm-hmm.
to take another case unrelated to the weather, when China had the one-child policy. To make sure it works, like good communists, they set up a ministry for one-child policy. So when you want to shift the policy, now you have 20,000 employees of the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck are these guys going to do? So you maintain the
Now
ministry belong the policy,
it starts
and you stuck
surviving
with
for
it.
the pure just for the purpose of survival.
Exactly, because one aspect of government bureaucracies or any bureaucracies, any system, once you set up a system to do something, it takes it becomes a reason to exist by itself. Now, if you want to shift it, it's easier to give it new assignments, could make it to another direction, but the system will resist because that's what it knows how to do,
Hmm.
and it will stay on longer. That's the other risk we see, and I'm always cautioning about it. You set up a policy, and you set up basically a rigid system. You better be sure that you need the system to be there for the long run. It's like, yeah, you have a lot of those everywhere in the world. You have, oh, in Lebanon, we have a Ministry of Trains. We have a Department of Trains. The last time we had a train was during the Civil War when the militias reactivated it. So that was maybe, what, 1990? And 4 years ago, they hired a new guy in charge of the department.
Hmm.
So the department is still there. There are no trains. And I'm pretty sure you see them, you see those things in many other places. You set up a system and you still do the stuff just because the system is set up to do the stuff, not because there's a mission or an overarching objective. I'm pretty sure if the Emirates, for example, there was a mistake, they would act very quickly, for example, and they would write it because they have this tendency of being gung ho, very go getter. They don't like the system doesn't work, fine, get rid of it. There's this attitude at the top there that's much more objective. They
Hmm.
don't have respect for a system that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Unless, yeah, so, and there's a way also you can tell if your cloud seeding or this electrostatic activity work because you can track by radar the effect of the plane, and the effect would be linear because it would follow the
yeah.
path of the plane. So I'm sure there's a way to see how effective you are and whatever. So you can check this. And I'm sure that if there's a bad actor somewhere with a good budget, they could do a lot of things. I mean, do we know how the fires in Hawaii happened?
There you go.
I don't know. It's not, I'm not saying what caused it. Do we know what caused them? Do we know how they happened? No. We had fires in Quebec. Do we know how they happened in detail? We arrested some people who were lighting up fires in Quebec, and but we still don't know all the details. So what caused it exactly? What was the freak event that caused it? We don't know yet.
Hmm.
So I'm jumping from one thing to the
No,
other,
no,
but
no,
it's
no, 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 no.
basically
No, there's a common
related.
thread.
Yeah, the common thread is if, from what we understand, this thing did not behave in a weird way. But is it possible that something else could be? Yes, there is. It is possible because we have a guy who did something big in 1916, and since then we may have made some progress. And back then they didn't have planes; he had towers. So now you have planes, satellites, all sorts of things. Why not? And
Yeah.
the Chinese during the Olympics, they made a big show about stopping the rain or adjusting the rain around the Olympic stadiums.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
put some seating technologies and some, I don't know, old stealth bombers. I don't know, ones you're not using anymore, F-117. They can't, they're not detected. Put them up there. I don't know. Or if it's a laser, do it from orbit. You got Starlink, you got
yeah,
30,000 satellites up there. And regardless of whether we're doing it or whether this is a repercussion of industrialized society or whether this is just a geologic hiccup or a solar minimum maximum, the reality is regardless of what is causing it, and that is important to find out what is causing it, but regardless of what's causing it, we have to deal with it. My apartment's on fire. Was it an arson? Was it a lightning strike? Was it a gas leak? Those are all important things to find out. But at the moment, I need to get out of the burning building, right?
yeah,
Um,
yes. In this case, what this tells us is we saw a freak event. What this tells us is we don't understand those small scale events. Let's not mess the planet on the longer scale.
Rational people think that.
Yes, rational people, people who God fearing people, if you want, that's what we say.
Sure.
They say in the region is basically God fearing people.
Who are the people that normally rise to the top of nations, intelligence agencies, and corporations? Normally, and this isn't even some like edgy comment. Objectively, they're normally somewhere on the psychopath scale.
Yeah, they don't fear God.
So
They
those
think
that
they are
have the
God and want to
means,
replace him.
they get to these levels of wealth and power, are also the ones who would go, I can manipulate the earth. It's worked well for them so far. Why wouldn't they keep going? Hey George, tell everyone where to find you. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right. Oh, you're getting a package. Well, I could be found at hacking.earth, and I could be found on LinkedIn under George J. Nasser. And on Twitter, I'm George J. Nasser as well. And Tommy's gone for this is his regular traditional interruptions. While I noticed he had a guest who went completely silent. But anyway, in my case, I'll just go and rambling a little bit. But the idea is this: if it if you hear the sound of hoops, it doesn't have to be zebras. It could be just a donkey or a horse. So in this case, it was most likely a freak nature event, but it's also conceivable that the our overlords, the powers that be, or the smarter people could do stuff like this. Yeah, we're getting technically more astute. We're not getting any wiser, and not such a good talker actually. Wait for Tommy now to get back. When I'm looking at an American flag. Oh, I was going to share something, but then Tommy disabled the screen sharing. I was okay. So wait for Tommy. Maybe I'll share this little image. Found this nice image on Fox. I think Fox News. It was no, it was it's a Florida channel, and they show the three systems moving in, one over Algeria, one over Dubai, another one over the Atlantic. It also shows the shape of the Gulf Stream. Maybe I'll share it. I'll try to cheat a little bit on the system and change my background. Okay, and I'll add another one. I'm going to add another background.
The show, George?
I'm still talking, and I figured I will add the background. Can you? I'm just gonna add
Yeah, I
something
can. Yeah,
to the
you want me to
background.
share?
Ah, if I can share, yes. I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
trying to hack
There you
it
go.
while you were not here.
No, thank you. No, you're the best. I always
No,
just
that's okay.
I
This is
hand
it.
it over to people and just run away. But you know, I appreciate it. So what
No,
is this?
that's okay. I just rambled a little bit, but then I want to share this image. It kind of summarizes it. You see, this is this L thing. That's the pressure system.
Mm-hmm.
That's a system that rained on Dubai. There was another similar system, and another similar system over the Atlantic. They had this guy. Found this on American TV. It's a very good show. Explained it very nicely. And that's the shape of, you see the squiggly shape here of the jet stream.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the system that moved. There was some irregularity happening. Usually it's much more regular, and got we got this. So that was it. I think this covers most of it. I don't have anything more exciting than this.
You don't think this is?
I'm in Lebanon. I'm in Lebanon now. So when if God forbid something really happens here, we'll be talking about those other things.
Well, I was gonna say
It
if you
feels
want.
like dancing on the edge of the volcano.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know it's super late your time, so if you need to wrap it up, we can. But I was gonna say, what do you think about the? It seems to be an assassination attempt on MBS yesterday. Did you see that?
Oh, they did?
They're saying there was an
No, I
attempt.
don't watch the news too much.
Me neither, but it was all over Twitter, which means it's real and verifiable. But let me look it up. MBS attack.
I'll look it up in a bit.
Saudi Arabia's biggest attack on. No, let's see. Media. Blah, blah, blah.
As they say, it's one of those things that are above my pay grades. I tend not to watch the news because
Well, it's
most of
depressing.
it is what is it? Not distracted. They want to elicit. It's as if they want to elicit a
Fear
reaction.
porn. It's fear porn. It's reactionary.
Yes. So
Let's
give it.
look.
I wait for it. Twitter is a good source.
I think it was last evening. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Um, maybe I did miss it. I don't know. Um, but I guess that it's, and I'm looking online and I can't find anything about it. So maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe there nothing really did happen. Um, but they
No,
said there's an
give it time
assassination
to see
attempt.
what happens.
Yeah, I don't really see anything. Maybe I was wrong. Saudi Arabia attack.
All we are now is we're watching a system, our environmental system, our economic system is in crisis, and everything else fall from it. We
During
worry
COVID.
about these things. I didn't see anything on Twitter. Well, we'll see. If it's, let's hope for the best always.
Arab
When
sources are Arab sources are reporting the roofs are already so they're
what's the source? Arab sources. I'm an Arab
Arabs.
source.
Yeah, no, you're an Arab source. It's just a video from
Yeah.
Riyadh, which makes me think that maybe it is. Maybe I'm the idiot and I bet on it. Arab sources are reporting
No,
assassination attempt on Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman, saying that an armed security convoy was hit, but I don't see it anywhere else. So maybe I'm perpetrating BS. Yeah,
no.
I think I'm the
We have to
idiot.
wait and see.
I think I'm the
No,
idiot.
no, no. You're not an idiot. It's just better not to be dragged by the immediacy. Take the time to see
No,
what happens.
I think I bit the rage porn.
That
I
I
think
try
I
to
took the
stay
bait.
away.
I'm an idiot. I went for it.
No, 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 no.
I
Should not.
went for it.
Let's
I'm the cat. There's a laser pointer. I saw it and I went for it. And
actually that's the image. I try to see it. That's it. That's why I don't watch the news so much. I try to stay away from the laser pointer.
mm,
When something happens, try to take the time to understand it as best as you can, and you learn a few things on the way.
yeah.
And
Well,
that's the
even like
best way
me,
to do it.
I just learned something. I just learned that I was wrong. And now I look like an idiot. And this has happened before on the show where I'm like, did you hear about this? And it turns out it was nothing, or it's like a news story from 10 years ago. This is a moment where I go, oh, that I was wrong and I'm wrong live on air and I can't undo that. That's not a good feeling. So now it means, like you
No,
said,
actually,
well, I was gonna say you learn from it. So now that's just a data point for the future to where I go, maybe I should double check that. And no, it's a good thing.
I'll tell you one story. I double checked when I did this, and actually I read it twice. Then I found it from his mouth. Edward Teller, the father of H-bomb,
Uh-huh.
when they mentioned something about global warming, climate change, one of the things he said, well, we may be forced to nuke the atmosphere, basically, to throw a few thermonuclear bombs in the atmosphere. That will create a dust cloud, which will cool the earth. Now, at first, the first thing I did is somebody was mentioning this was an actual policy or an actual study. I traced it back to an ad hoc remark he made during a conference because he had the habit. Smart people tend to think sometimes out loud.
Hmm.
So he mentioned there's a warming effect happening. He mentioned that this may be due to human action, but regardless, one way we could do it
Is
is to do it this way. And that's it. So it didn't go any further,
got it.
as far
And
as we know.
yeah, as far as we know.
But then, yeah, but then when you read the reference, it's like, oh, wait a minute. They went into all over, and you're like, no, please pause. Let's look at it. Go to the source,
Hmm.
and the source says nothing of the sort.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But it's slow. We live in a fast news cycle. Everything has to happen fast.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had an episode now on talking about the trains that come on time, because all the news is about the trains that don't come on time,
Yeah. That is a good point. Yeah. Yeah,
which is
like
useful.
yeah, when people attack like I don't know, like Tesla, self-driving or something, they report on like this is the fifth crash this year, and it's like this is
Yes.
news because cars crashing is not news.
Yeah, it's exactly. And why Tesla?
Mm, yeah.
Why focus on Tesla? It's
Yeah, there's a
always
bunch of EVs, there's a bunch of self-driving cars. Is it because he's an evil man who wants free speech?
that could be why. You see what I mean? This is
Mm.
That's why we're being it's like your episode with Tom Longo, not to replug it, but people,
I don't care.
everybody
Go
should
for it.
watch
Yeah,
it.
yesterday it was
No, everybody
episode
should watch it, the one you had yesterday.
1477
Exactly.
yesterday. Yeah.
Yes, everybody should watch it because are we being played and how are we being played?
Well, the answer is yes, you're being played, no matter
Yes,
what,
so
just
that's it.
regardless.
Exactly. So
And
the
it's
second is how are you being played and what are they trying to sell?
yeah, I mean, it's always been like, how do I make this analogy? You talk to like, I don't know, special forces guys, right? And they kind of just look at the world differently. They're always looking at like, you know, they're, they're always social. I mean, I've got to like physically hang out with some of these guys before. And even when you're just talking to them, you see their eyes and they're constantly they're looking at like every I'm not even kidding. They're looking at every door. We were out in a field and we were at a shooting range. They were constantly just constantly and I remember once I was like, is one of these guys like not feeling all right? And I realized they're all doing their eyes, and I doubt they even realize they're doing it. They're just constantly scanning the horizon, looking at changing things. And it's
It's yeah.
so that changes them permanently. So now let's shift this into kind of a modern war, right? Where it's a war for the mind. And it's sure there's kinetic wars, but there's also with phones in our pockets and our screens, we are all subject to any, psyop, right? So you do have to start looking at things like just because I've never been in war and I probably hopefully never will be, doesn't mean that some aspects of war aren't touching you. And it could simply be a news story. Maybe I'm an idiot for going, I thought there was an MBS assassination attempt. Maybe someone somewhere is like, let's push this because it benefits that and it's part of this thing and we're doing that. And, oh, this, geoengineering, was it a flood? Can we blame it on China or Israel or
Yeah.
whatever? You're
Mhm.
always there. And so you should kind of constantly, it's not all innocent mistakes. We just got out of like COVID, which was military grade psyops to make you feel crazy. That is a modern war on the front line. So it's not it's not absurd to assume that there are nefarious actions behind almost everything you see. Is it fake? Is it meant to sound fake? Is it real? Is it hiding something? Is it a distraction? Misinformation, disinformation, malinformation? Is it withholding information? Is it pushing fake information? You do have to be aware of all of that. And it's not at all a crazy thing to assume that you're being played one way or another.
Yes, and there will always be, even if there's an event, there'll be people waiting to benefit from the event. So if you want to wrap it up, we can just basically to wrap it up, if I were, I would say this is most likely not a nefarious event, but a lot of the people trying to talk about it, discuss it, have their own agenda. Some people want to
Mm,
push a certain narrative. Some people want to are jealous maybe of the success of the Emirates and want to undermine or just throw shade at them.
mm.
There may be many things. So it's always good to see what is the source telling me the story, what's behind it, and then to dig a bit deeper and not go straight away for the rage porn.
Yeah. Don't go for that.
Because if yeah, 5 days later there was this big storm, and then you have a few Twitter accounts who went, "Oh, another storm, another flood," and then wait a minute, a lot of people in Dubai is like, "What storm?
Yeah.
It just rained harder, and this time no storm, no
Yeah.
flood." And
Yeah.
so
So it's also possible that, sure, it's possible that you're being gaslit or you're being misled or distracted. It's also possible in a world with 8 billion people, most of whom have access to the internet, a microphone, and a camera, are also sometimes just stupid. And there might be
well,
nothing nefarious behind this. It might just be a flood in Dubai that's notable because a lot of Lamborghinis were destroyed. That's also possible.
yes, and it's also possible. It should be there are people who are searching for eyeballs and people searching for the truth,
Well, yeah, no, and then
and
there's also a very big
that's it.
business aspect of it, where it's like
Yes.
I'm getting, I'm getting, I'm benefiting from this story. It's like, oh, do you work for the CIA? No, I have a Rumble channel, and the more clicks I get a couple more dollars a month. And it's like, that is nefarious, but that's not the same nefarious as CIA, right? It's like I'm nefarious. I'm
Yep.
getting an extra couple bucks so I can buy some slippers. And it's like, oh, that's like that's like the gayest nefarious you can be, right? If I'm the evil villain, it's a good world, right? Um, but yeah,
Okay.
George,
Yeah.
we'll wrap this up because I know it's, I know you're like 90 hours ahead of me.
No, it's just 6:30 o'clock. I just have to go
Yeah,
back
no,
to.
you got to go be a family man.
Yes. Thank you very much. It was
Yeah,
good talking to you again.
yeah, man.
And
I love chatting with you. Yeah, you
I
gotta.
enjoyed chatting with you. You
Yeah,
just take me into rabbit holes I didn't expect.
well, it's fun.
I
It's
try not
also
to get myself in trouble in front of the 8 billion people.
yeah. Well, no, it's that's the other thing about it though, man. Is like a lot more guests than not pretty much say what you just said. They're like, I like this because it was so free flowing, and
Mhm.
and like people, it's ingrained into people. There's this reflexive like you have to stay on topic, but it's also like I don't want to touch on these things, and it's like why not? It just because you and I floated ideas doesn't mean it's like we're talking about Edward Teller, and it's like they're
Yeah,
Tommy and George are for nuking the atmosphere. No, we're not. We're just talking about ideas, and so the title can be Dubai floods, and you know we end up going down into military grade psyops and nuking the stratosphere. That doesn't mean that we're for it or against it. It just means it's just a topic. So I think it's a very
yeah.
important part. And you know, people,
Especially with this budget for the past 100 years, something
yeah,
there must be
it's fun.
something to it.
To me, it's like when I first started listening to Joe Rogan in I think 2011. He had just started his podcast, and I had only
Mm,
known him as the Fear Factor guy. When I first started listening to him, I remember I was a junior in college, and I remember what struck me was that he talked like me and my buddies. We had a couch on our front porch, and we'd come back from the bars hammered and just smoke a bong. And I was like, that's how we talk. But he's just putting it out on. He'd have on these cool guests. It wasn't just a bunch of idiots, and it would start on topic. Within 30 minutes, they'd be talking about aliens and UFO, and it's just like people have this such like a it's like a naughty feeling of like we're not staying on topic, and it's like it's not a school project, man. It's not a PhD thesis. Like you can just
yeah, and
jump
you
down
have time.
rabbit holes
People
and
can
have fun.
disconnect.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like this is how most guys talk when they're hanging out. Difference is I just put it on Rumble.
yeah. And it was fun. I have to go back
Yeah,
being a
yeah, yeah.
family
Sorry.
man,
Yeah,
and you
sorry,
have
man.
to go
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
your other podcast.
Oh my God, I didn't
It
speak
was,
of aliens. Yeah, the next show is going to be about aliens in 30 minutes, so got to get ready for that.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll be
Ashton
listening to it.
Forbes, the guy who's doing the whole, MH370. Did it disappear because of some advanced skunk works orbs? I don't know. I have no expertise in
I,
this.
I'm writing a novel. I'm using this idea in my novel.
Oh
I'm
crap.
gonna do
Oh
this.
God. All right. Now George
All
is
right.
gonna now George is gonna sue me. All right. But
No,
yeah.
no, I'm gonna have fun. No, 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 I'm gonna steal this idea for a novel. Why not? That's a good
Oh
idea.
yeah, who cares? Why not? Go for it. What do I care?
Yes.
Throw me a couple shekels. But guys, go in the description. Please go follow him on Twitter. Go grab his book. Go check him out on I don't know. Go follow him on LinkedIn. I think I'm banned from LinkedIn, so whatever. But George,
LinkedIn is not a mess. You're banned on Twitter. You should be back on Twitter. I hope
I am.
so.
I got an alternative account. I'm back on Twitter. I'm sneaking in there. That's the extent of my nefarious activities. I'm sneaking back on Twitter. George, let's wrap this up. Don't be a stranger, remember. And I have a lot of people message me, and people are always like, I haven't been on your show in a while. I juggle so many guests that I forget. So if I haven't like talked to you in a while, just ping me and be like, "Yo, let's do a show." That's what Luongo literally
Don't
did
worry about it.
last
When I
weekend.
have a story, when there's a story worth discussing, I'll try to sneak in your show. That's also
Yeah,
my first part.
yeah. Well, I mean, Luongo literally emailed me last weekend or this like 3 days ago. I was like, "Tommy, let's do a show." And I was like, "All right, cool." Like I didn't set that up. You told
Yes, and
me
it was very. People should watch this one. I'm
that.
gonna plug it again.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. Yeah, 1477. But George, let's wrap this up. Till next time, thank you so much for your time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please go follow George on Twitter, go to his website, all that good stuff. Till next time, man. Stay safe.